and we can get going. So, yeah, welcome to this. If you're joining me, come say hi in the chat. This is on Zoom, and we're going to be recording this, so you can watch it again on Facebook and our blog. So today we're chatting primarily about marketing and a little bit about how I'm going to unpack marketing in the small sector environment. So. Startups, small businesses, and whether you're involved in a services or a product-based organization, the sales funnel pretty much says it all. There's a couple of key elements that you need to focus on, and some ideas with that. So let me turn on my camera, and then you can see me a little bit as well. So there we go. So what we're going to be doing is just kind of unpacking the sales funnel. Now, the olden day sales funnel, if we can just get that to work now. There we go. So the old-fashioned sales funnel kind of looks like that. It's a matter of putting data in the top. It's a matter of pouring information in there. And what you'll see in a lot of textbooks, a lot of places that talk about sales funnels, is that they talk about being at a number game. A game that's all about, just creating tons and tons of data, getting in there. A lot of call centers are still filled like this, where you want to process as many numbers as you can. The average call center is 0.8% conversion at the moment. Really good call center will get up to a 3% call, which is really interesting. You've got to have 100 phone calls before you get a sale, or 3 sales, or at least a conversion to a maybe. And it's just really interesting as we and what we want to say is this old-fashioned sales funnel is nonsense. Okay, we want to scrap that. It's no longer a numbers game. The old thing of an insurance salesman or a financial services salesman asking you for 10 friends so they can call, this is where they get it from. And they want to churn those numbers, because if they can get that door-to-door or phone-to-phone people, or outsource it to a call center, and we all know those annoying calls that don't do anything to build any level of relationship with it. So we want to scrap this altogether. So don't even bother writing that down or anything. Let's look at a new sales funnel. Let's unpack what a sales funnel is all about. And what we want to do is we want to start looking at building relationships. We want to build a level of trust. We want to build a level of participation between you and your clients to be able to build that relationship, because it is all about relationships. The companies that are offering that experiential relationship are the companies that are going to succeed. So what do we need to do? Well, firstly, we're still putting stuff in there, but instead of putting people in the top, we want to put data. So what we want is we want captivating content, okay? Now, what is captivating content? Content that relates to the people of where they're at, based on the experiences and the problems that they're solving, okay? So it's very hard to sell an umbrella to someone in Cape Town today, okay? Because we know it's not going to rain. It's very easy to sell an ice-cold Coca-Cola to someone today because it's quite hot outside. Okay, so it's based on the experiences, it's based on the circumstances, the experiences, the problems that people are facing, and the availability of cash. So understanding that about your customer, and we're going to look at customer profiling in a further webinar. But the more you profile your clients and create different archetypes for the different categories of your clients, the better you can create captivating content. And that captivating content needs to be posted on a number of places. It can be posted online on things like Facebook, Instagram. You can do WhatsApp campaigns, you can do blogs, you can do websites, you can do mailers, flyers, newspapers, skywriting, banners, poll posters, whatever it is there, the content has to be captivating. So it's got to relate to that person. Do not create content that's general for everyone, because general stuff that you're trying to catch as many people as possible catches nothing. be specific. If I look at an advert and it's not related to me, I'm going to walk on, that's fine. But when I see an advert that's related to me or where I'm at, I'm going to stop, pause, and read and take notice of that. That's laser targeting, where you've got to do that. So we'll speak more about captivating content and how to profile your clients. And Facebook have come up with some really interesting tools to be able to do that. And we'll be unpacking that, as I said, in future. So what we're going to do, once you've created captivating content, then you've got to then understand the people who are being captivated, okay? And the key thing here is that you've got to learn how to capture people's details, or you've got to have mechanisms and processes to capture their details. Now, if you just think of how many times you walked into a shop, and you walk into a shop and you kind of say, well, hi guys, I'm just looking, and someone comes up, a salesperson says, okay, can I help you? And you just turn around, show them the hand and say, no, just looking, just browsing and all that sort of stuff. They've lost the opportunity to fulfill the first criteria of a sales funnel, and that's to engage with people and capture their content, at least get the person's name, right? The business card swap, I was discussing with a group of millennials the other day, and they saying, business cards are so yesterday, and they don't see the need to have the business card, and they'd rather spend the money on beer and drinks and stuff than spending it on cards, because everything is electronic. And I really, really disagree with that. I said, the more we get more electronic, instruments and apps into our lives, the more important a business card becomes, because a business card cuts through the distraction of that. I don't just want to send you my details or rub our phones together and exchange contacts or bump the phones. It's about exchanging this stuff, because if I can just send the stuff electronically, it's ignored. There's no human contact. It's might as well just send you one of my spam emails. A business card still relates to a business card. I'm going to take my business card, I'm going to give it to you, and you're going to take it and you're going to feel it and touch it and read it and look at it and engage with the person based on that card. So it's vitally important to be able to do that and to create those capture mechanisms. Now, if it's not a one-on-one process, then you've got to look at how you can capture details electronically. Like a website, you've got to have those little contact forms that you're going to encourage people to get hold of. A good capture mechanism is always on the midsection of the right-hand side of your screen. So if you could split your screen into two halves, left and right, and then into threes, it's the right-hand second block from the top, the middle block. That's the action part. That's where your call to action needs to be. And you need to put your form there, and you need to say, to subscribe, please get this, or you need to give somebody something to download our ebook on our topic, and you fill in your names and we'll email that. And what you're doing is you're capturing vital information, minimum vital information. You need a first name and an email address or a cell phone. You don't need more than that to start engaging with that person. You don't ask people to fill in those lengthy things. I was on a site just yesterday, and initial engagement was a 14 thing. They wanted everything, and dress and ID number and all this sort of stuff. And immediately I'm thinking, is this a fraud site? How am I going to do this and get involved in that? I've got issues with a PayPal transaction at the moment, and I was just finished playing with the site now, and they wanted so much information about me. They've got all this stuff. Why do you want to re-ask? Why do you want people to recapture information you've already have? You sit there at the bank, and the lady's got the screen with all your details, and she asks you for your ID card and this and this, and she's got a photograph and everything of you right there in front of you, but you've got to resubscribe. It's making a painful, abusive process that clients are not going to engage in. It's no fun going to the bank. No one wakes up in the morning and says, oh, it's such a lovely day, I'm going to have fun and go to the bank. Okay? It doesn't work like that. Banks are known as friction-created organizations, and we want to make it as smooth as possible, painless as possible, and frictionless as possible, adding that experiential thing. So when you ask people to give their details, Make sure it's easy, make sure it's painless. Don't take them away to another site, don't send them off there, don't validate, don't make them enter all these weird things and they've got to look at this stuff. And remember, look at your website on mobile as well as tablet, as well as screen and laptop. Process that stuff because forms interact completely differently all over. Enable automatic filling in forms, etc., to make it as painless as you can for your clients to give their details, because they are giving you stuff, and sometimes you need to give in return to get that capture rewarded. Okay, so once you've captured, what are we going to do? We're going to categorize that information, and what we need to do is we need to unpack that information. Now, I have a number of key lessons that I speak about to them when I'm teaching this, is that when you're working face to face in networking and that, and I always carry business cards in my left hand pants pocket. That's my way. I know where they are and they're all there, and I don't mix them up. So I take a new fresh lot, put them in my pants pocket, and I know where they are. And when I'm getting a card, what I do is, as I'm speaking to the person, I'm capturing their data, we do the card swap, and immediately I'm able to categorize, because not everybody you meet is your customer. So you need to realize that not everything is about you, and not every person you meet has a potential customer. So we grade very quickly into yes, no, maybe, okay? And that sort of stuff. So the no's are people that we're not interested in working with. I know just from speaking with them, they don't fit our client profile. They don't fall into one of our 4 archetypes. And we know that I'm never going to get any money out of them, let alone engagement, and it's not going to be fun. And we've got a number of categories with that. And it's not that we're a bad person. We just focus and we know who we work with from experience and based on where we're at there. So if I'm speaking to someone who's a no, I'll still engage with them, I'll still chat to them, but I'm going to cut that conversation as short as possible without being rude, and their card goes in a certain pocket. So I know that all the cards going in that pocket are a no, and I don't have to do anything about them except add them to our mailing list, because we don't know who they know with that, and we'll get to that now. Then I've got the maybes. These are people that could be clients, they might not be ready now, and they might be, kind of circling and thinking about this and not too sure about where we are, and we've got certain procedures with it. Those cards go into another pocket. Then the yeses, the definite, now, yes, people want to action. Now, these are the people I'm going to engage with. I'm going to share a little bit more with them. I've already classified them. I'm asking them key questions. Their cards go in my shirt pocket, close to my heart, because that's where customers should be. And then those cards then get sorted and categorized as soon as I get back to the office. So they come out of the shirt pocket and they get processed into our blue form focus, which I'll explain in a moment. So it's very clear. I'm able to categorize people when I see them because it's easier. And we can then have that instant clarification. If they were on the website, it's a little harder because you don't know who they are. So now you've got to have a different process to be able to interact with it. So we can go then, we can cyber stalk them, and we can go look at some of their profiles, and we can unpack them. And looking at it, and I can see very clearly from where people are and their type of email. I can go into their Facebook account or LinkedIn account, and I can see very clearly if they're a no or a yes or a maybe, and to be able to understand that. And then they get the email to say, thank you very much for subscribing. We'll keep you on your mailing list, or I'd love to chat with you. Can I set up an appointment? I'm available today. Let's chat. And unpack that. So it's very interesting to be able to do that. And it comes with experience. You're not going to always get this right. You're going to lose some and you're going to gain some, and you're going to make mistakes. But as you get a lot better at this, you're able to classify or categorize the people into 3 different categories, or maybe you've got others. You've got various products or services that you offer, and you're able to unpack those as you go. But it's very clear, it's very important to eliminate the no, so you don't waste time and money trying to focus on everybody is my client. Okay? You're not selling Bitcoin or Tupperware or any of those other con products, and unpacking those. So that was a joke. Okay, don't get offended. So just kind of looking at where that goes and where we unpacking that, it's very important to focus your customers, because niching is very, very important. So once you've categorized and stuff there. Then it's very important. Then what we do, we go for a clarification process. Now, the clarification process, we obviously start with the yes clients. And there it is. It's either a meeting, we do Zoom meetings, we do Skype meetings, we do one-on-one meetings, and we interview the people and we go through that process of just understanding who they are. And now what we do, we unpacking their needs. So I've got a couple of key questions that we ask them, and we've got 4 key questions that we ask in the marketing thing. And through those 4 questions, we're able to not only understand their needs, but understand their plan, but also begin to develop that level of trust that needs to happen for a good, solid relationship. And 4 key questions takes people from here to here in a very short time. And whether you propositioning a client or a life partner or a friend, those key questions work and they're able to get those people out. And we'll do those 4 questions at another webinar. But out of that, what we're able to do, we clarify their needs, and in return, we are then able to match our products and services to them. So I never speak first at a marketing meeting. I always let the client speak and clarify their needs, asking them questions, asking their stuff. Then you can get all that information out of them. And then in return, I can give a response on what we do based on their needs. And it looks like a perfect hand-in-glove fit. And with that, if you speak first and go on and on about those features and benefits and blah, 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 people will get lost because they might only want to focus on that. Why tell them the story this big when they only want a small section? So it's very important to be able to do that and to clarify their needs and to be able to do that. And then we get down to the convert, okay? And this is the ka-ching moment where we're able to get there. You should be getting a high conversion if you're doing the above right. And you should be able to get all that information correctly distilled and correctly sorted out there. So you should have a high convert. So a little bit of lessons for nature. What do you think, which animal, okay, on the planet do you think has the highest kill rate? Which predator has the highest kill rate amongst all the predators on the planet? Okay, and just think about all different creatures and sit there and think that. So just some kind of thoughts, and I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Just start thinking about all the animals and the biology that you know. Who is the highest kill rate? You'll be very surprised at the answer for that. So once you've had the conversion, now for a lot of companies get to a point where they then stop the relationship right here. I've got the sale, and if it's a salesperson, they kind of close the file and say, we're passing that on to the production or the implementation team, and I want nothing more to do with it. Estate agents are really good at this. They sit there, as soon as you sign the deal, accepted the deal, they don't even talk to you anymore. And we've handed this over to the lawyers, they hand it over to the conveyancers, and we'll never see you again. And it's very important to follow up with that. So we've added another C into the sales funnel called, obviously, conversations. And conversations need to happen in a multitude of ways. Conversations need to be around a number of sort of platforms. Firstly, you want to continue the relationship. Now, the food for a relationship is information. Okay, so the more information you give, the more you talk to your clients, the better the relationship. So you talk to them. Okay, and you can do that via newsletters, you can do that via one-on-one meetings, catch-up meetings. If you're not directly involved in your client, set up client meetings just to have that weekly check-in or monthly check-in or quarterly check-in, just to see how things are going. Send them information that's relative to them. Send them, we send out a number of weekly things that people can subscribe to and unsubscribe to if they're not happy with it, and make it a painless process there, but continually top of mind all the time. So think of the brand Coca-Cola. Just think of your day, how many times you see that Coca-Cola brand. Coca-Cola are very, very fast to sponsor any sign for any kind of corner cafe, supermarket, spaza shop, pub, or anything like that. You'll see there's a big Coca-Cola sign with a name next to it. And I've been to the most remote places on the planet. I remember hiking up a mountain in the middle of the Congo through a rainforest once. And we walked for hours and hours up this little mud path. And we came to the top. And there, Bob, in the middle of the jungle, was this little kind of refreshment shack / bar / restaurant. And there was a big Coca-Cola sign out of there. And what was my first thought? We were hiking in the hot water. I so desperately want a Coca-Cola. And it's just key there, is top of mind. And to be able to do that. And that's what you've got to do with your brand. You've got to help people remember when last they engaged with your brand, and keep that on a regular basis, because that's the brand they're going to talk about, that's the brand they're going to want, and that's the brand they're going to refer to in the future. So it's all about creating this productive, active sales funnel. And you can't really see behind me here, but on the whiteboard behind me, we've defined our sales funnel, and it's got about 14 different sections to it based on these things. And as we define where we're going to build this stuff, and sales funnel also starts saying, where's the free stuff, where's the least paid stuff, the more paid stuff. And as you go down, you're building various products. So as you're driving people down to that convert point, is that you need to offer them something in return. Now, it's interesting, they say, psychology says that you've got to have 8 touches, 8 engagements with somebody before you develop that trust enough for them to buy from you. And it's interesting is that some of those things are trust points that relate back to, it could be an email, it could be seeing my product online, and etc. And last week's webinar, if you haven't seen that, go and watch it. It's on our Facebook page. Is we spoke about the sales cycle, and the key thing there, we spoke about the moments of truth. And what is a moment of truth? It's the time that you engage with a product and you see for real what that product is when you hold it in your hand, or wear it, or eat it, or whatever you do with it the first time. That's your moment of truth, when you realize that you've made a good buy or made a poor choice. And you can see that. So things might look glossy online and all that sort of stuff, but the moment of truth is when you actually get the product and you use it, or wear it, or eat it, or drink it. And that's the moment of truth. So we speak a lot about the 0 moment of truth, which happens electronically, which could be higher up your sales funnel, or higher up the sales cycle, that people get there. You've got to work on these areas to make sure that your moment of truth defined within your sales cycle are key. So it's interesting, just looking at a case study on a coffee company that serves coffee, and they got 16 different measurable moments of truth around their coffee experience that they sell. And they sell coffee. And they've defined definitely 16 things, is that, and it's all about first impression when they walk in the door, and friendliness of staff, and ease of being served, and what the cup looks like, and the lid fitting, and the coffee tasting like, and the environment, and, everything around their prices. And it's not just about the main thing, is like, is the price right, I'm going to buy. It's about everything, and people are subconsciously taking all this stuff in. And it's very, very important to be able to do that. So what you want is, you want a high hit rate. You want to be able to convert everybody that you're engaging with, because your processes are fine. And those people that you don't want to engage with, that right up front. So you're not wasting time, energy, and money on that. And you want to hive that off here. So here's a point. The predator I asked you about. The predator in nature that has the highest kill rate. It's 90%. 90% kill rate. As an infant, it has 100% kill rate with it. And they might give it away that it's not a lion or a tiger or a leopard or something. In fact, a lion has a kill rate of less than 40%, so between 35 and 40%. So it means that 6 times out of 10 that a lion goes after something, it's going to miss. And that's not the type of organization you want. The predator with the highest kill rate is, in fact, the dragonfly. Well, there we go. Bet you never guessed that. The dragonfly, as an infant, it's a waterborne larva. It has 100% kill rate. It's a lethal thing. Fish love them, but they're a lethal killer. And as an adult, when it transforms into an adult dragonfly and starts flying around, it has a 90% success rate as a predator. Yes, they're flesh eaters, and they go after other insects and stuff, where they move with such speed, with such focus. If you look at the size of their eyes, they are equipped killing machines. and they're the highest predator rate. So go out and be dragonflies, and go out there and seek your prey and attack it in love and kindness, like we do in marketing. So that's kind of what I want to share with you. I think I've got a quote here. There we go. It's no longer a numbers game. It's all about personal service with added convenience and experience. So that's kind of what I have for you. If you've got something that you want to ask a question or something, you can do a number of things. You can send me an email. There's my email address. Or you can actually write a little note in the shared stuff here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open the chat with that, and you can find the chat at the top of your screen. Just move your mouse to the top there, and it'll bring down a bar there, and you'll find one of the things. If it's not there, click on the more button and you click on chat, and you can ask me a question. I'm going to hang around here for another 15 minutes or until everyone goes away. And we're going to be able to do that. So I'm going to turn off the recording now, and then we can just go to the chat. So thank you very much for joining us.